God is an it. He's not a man with a white beard sitting in the clouds. He's not Santa Claus. God is a massive, omnipotent field of energy, and God is an it. In the Gnostic books, like the Apocryphon of John, they often use it pronouns.
It is not right to think of it as a god, or as like God. It is more than just a god.
I mean, look at how many times they use the word it in this one passage to describe God. And check this out, the Gnostic book called On the Origin of the World, from the Nag Hammadi library, written almost 2,000 years ago, lost to time, and then rediscovered in 1945. These Gnostic texts, like this one, describes God like a massive cloud of energy, spiritual divine energy, existing outside of space and time. Before creation, nothing existed besides God. It filled all the spaces. It was all there ever was, ever. Now, at some point, God wanted to observe itself, but in order to do that, it needed to create an otherness. It needed to create something outside of itself so it could observe itself. Now, keep in mind that to God, thought is a creative action. So as God contemplated this idea of creating something, it created something. It created the divine feminine called Barbelo. Barbelo is what they call the Holy Spirit. It was the first emanation of God, the first creation of God. She's also sometimes called the thought of God. She is God's thoughts. Through Barbelo, God could finally stand back and look at itself, and it liked what it saw. So it didn't stop there. Together with Barbelo, also called the womb of all, God and Barbelo created the Son, or the Christ. Now, when I hear the name Christ, I spin with all kinds of preconceptions. But the word Christ from the Greek Christos simply means the anointed one. And it says in the secret book of John that God anointed the Son with goodness and made him perfect. So Christos or Christ just means the anointed one. So the Son is simply the part of God outside of itself that it anointed with goodness and perfection. For their next project, God and Barbelo began creating qualities such as foreknowledge, incorruptibility, immortality, and truth. The way it's written in the Gnostic texts is almost as if these qualities are personified into beings. So God thought of truth, and there was truth standing there ready to get to work. So these personified beings are called eons. And it's spelled with an A, A-E-O-N, but it's pronounced eon, just like the measure of time. And they created a bunch of them. These eons are kind of like angels, but they're more powerful than that. So here's where things get weird. God created a bunch of these eons, and he created several heavens for them to live in. That's why you often hear heavens, plural. You could think of these heavens as realms or alternate dimensions or whatever. But with God, there's so much light. God is light, and the eons are made of light. And with all this light, there's often shadow. So the shadow of all this light becomes a realm of its own, an imperfect physical realm, an imperfect realm of very low vibration. The Gnostics call it the lowest form of all creation. It's the dirty underbelly of God. And it's here that we humans eventually find ourselves, scrabbling for survival and happiness. What do you think? Is the origin of the world onto something? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching.